2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dynamite After Dark. This is your host, Zanman Shane Sabunium, the King of Expatriates, along with my good buddy Jeff. And Jeff, I think somebody really needs to explain to All Elite Wrestling, not that, again, I'm not grateful that they're giving us entertainment at this time when hardly anything else is, but that not only can a match between Shawn Spears and Cody Rhodes not hold us captive for two straight commercial breaks, like within 3 minutes of each other, but Shawn Spears should not be main eventing 2 straight Dynamites in a row.
You know, here's the funny thing. Before we even called, we were setting up. I set up YouTube. You set up, what is it? Are we even still on Spreaker?
Yeah.
At this point, I don't even know. But I set up the YouTube feed, and in my description for tonight's show is Shawn Spears in the main event 2 weeks in a row has Shane's ire up. I knew damn well that was going to be your opening comment.
Well, I'll even go a step further. If he's in the main event next week, we're not doing this show.
No, we'll do it. We will do it.
I can't.
In fact, I was gonna.
Well, if we do it, it's not going to be with me being able to comment on the main event because I'll shut the fucking show off.
I was gonna ask you about this too. Next week I am kid free. So do you want to do a live play-by-play of the show?
Well,
Shawn Spears.
I don't think I have anything else going on. So it'll probably work pretty well.
Shawn Spears is not going to be a part of it. It was determined tonight that he is out of this tournament. So, and next week is supposed to be Darby versus Sammy in the main event.
In fact, I think I'll raise you one on that. I think I'll run to AEW, grab a burger and fries, and this weekend I'll pick up like a 6-pack of Angry Orchard or something. And I'll probably be drunk by the time we're done by the time the show's over.
You want to, maybe run some over to me because I'm in quarantine. I could use a burger and fries.
No, because then I'd have to go all the way to Hibbing, and that would be breaking quarantine.
No, it's not. Not if you're delivering your best friend burger and fries. It doesn't. That is an essential travel.
The tough thing would actually be going to A&W and not getting root beer while I was there instead of drinking the Angry Orchard.
Well, you can mix the Angry Orchard. It mixes well with root beer.
Yeah, but the A&W root beer is so good. I don't even like. I don't honestly. The A&W root beer is so good. I don't even like making root beer floats out of it. I mean, I do because my wife loves it. So I've had that a couple of times over the last week. But really, I really like the A&W just straight.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm an A&W fan, but only a root beer fan. If I make floats, it's usually out of Barks or out of Dad's root beer.
See, I can't do Barks just because I know there's caffeine in it, and there should never be caffeine in root beer.
I ignore that fact because I enjoy the caffeine.
Makes sense.
So, anyway, tonight's show.
I could have used more caffeine tonight because I could barely stay awake during. I mean, it's not that the show was. No, I'm going to say it. The show was bad, in my opinion. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's kind of the way I want these types of shows to be, with some jobber matches sprinkled in there, and some solid wrestling sprinkled in there. But the last half hour, I couldn't stay awake. I kind of dozed off during the Jake Hager promo things, and I didn't like that it opened with a jobber match. I think if the show had opened up with Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker, I would have been a lot more enthused about the show overall.
See, and my reaction tonight was kind of mixed. Like, I'm not a fan of the squash matches to make somebody look greater than they really are. It's like Aleister Black did that in WWE, and then he went out and got destroyed by Lashley for the first 20 minutes of that match. And granted, it was a 10-minute match, but it felt like 20. And they're doing it now with Lance Archer, and I've never been a fan of some big monster guy coming in and destroying local talent. That's never been something that I've looked forward to. I get the reasoning behind it now, simply because they're really struggling to find workers and people aren't wanting to show up on TV. I mean, look at how much of the AEW roster hasn't been around for over a month. Yeah, and but so that I mean that match pulled me out, but I really loved Sheeta versus Baker. It was one of those like I think Baker is finding herself in her new character, and she's really starting to expound on that, and it's becoming very entertaining. I really like that tag match, and as much as I knew I was gonna hate Cody versus Shawn because I figured it was going to be kind of a repeat of what we saw already, which it really was. It wasn't a bad match, but man, those Hager versus Moxley promos setting up next week was way too often, way too much. It it had to have been a good half hour of the show that was just focused on those two
I
and their
felt that.
promos.
Yeah, I felt that same way too. I mean, it was at least 20 minutes, I would say. And yeah, and Baker, the only thing the only thing I could say negative about Chelsea Baker versus Hikaru Shida is that, and yes, I'm keeping the Chelsea thing going, is that
I knew you would.
is that I think they really need to have Baker come out, and I don't know if they'll even do this because they taped all these shows in a row knowing they were going to be shut down. I think that what happened in that match in the last 5 minutes or so, it really needs a strong heel promo by Baker the following week, just because with her fighting with the way her face was bloodied and stuff, it's a lot like Austin did at WrestleMania 13, where it has the ability to turn her baby face after so much work is turning her heel, in my
Well,
opinion.
she kind of delivered somewhat what we were looking for in her little promo. I think it was after the tag match, where she basically said she doesn't bully and blah blah blah. Um, but it was her promo came off as more whiny than I'm a badass. Look what I went through.
Yeah.
I think at this point it doesn't matter what Britt does. She's not going to come off ever as that Steve Austin type heel character, and they're missing a boat big time on that.
I think she's and I do agree with you. I think she's improving quite a bit. A lot of times that's the way it is with young wrestlers. Like they're just not going to work as a baby face, and it's and um, even though it's usually the heel that kind of controls the pace of a match, it's still a great learning experience to be a heel and play that role in the match. And I think Baker's really coming into her own by doing that.
And
And when you're against someone with I mean, she's new to American fans, but somebody with the experience that Hikaru Shida does in Stardom and other Joshi promotions, being in there guiding her, I think helps a lot as well. And she got a great rub by being strong against the number one woman in the company.
well, and just like everything about her performance, I loved the crazy look in her eyes when they panned the camera on her after she realized she was bleeding. I loved her performance. I loved her heel performance, getting out and talking to Tony. It just everything about what she did was so much improved over where she was 2 months ago that it was hard not to like what she was doing.
Absolutely. Um, you know, and I was just thinking, I said that she is the number one woman in the promotion, and I meant talent wise, but she's also the number one contender. And it made me think, like, Nyla Rose hasn't been around probably because of the stuff going on with COVID.
Right.
Um, but I wonder what the deal is with Hangman Page not being around, because he was there for the first couple of weeks, and I'm just wondering, did they decide, since they're not doing the blood and guts, that they're just going to keep him off of there, or do you think it was Hangman's choice? Because I think it's a wise decision to keep the hottest guy in the company away when there's not crowds out there to keep him going hot.
Well, but I think they could have got him, front and center by at least doing some promos. even though everything's going on the way it is, he's still not giving Cassidy his 12 bucks.
I think it was a great callback for him to everything they did with the bar scene and all that stuff on New Year's Eve. It's a way to keep himself front and center, but I think AEW needs to do a better job of maybe making some promos out there, putting some promos out to make him still feel like the big deal that he has become.
Yeah, maybe they could do that weekly with guys like Pac and Darby and Hangman. Even guys like what do they call themselves? I can't even think of the name. That I just lost it. Jack Evans and his partner.
Oh yeah, Hybrid too.
Hybrid too. Yeah.
You're gonna have to help me here because I had a little bit of shenanigans happening during the end of that Best Friends match. Who won that? I'm guessing Best Friends.
Best Friends won the Strong Zero.
Okay, yeah, and that makes sense because they were battling over the best friend name, which was a weird thing.
It really was.
I
did like Jericho's idea though. They should call themselves whatever the Japanese word for best friends.
Right.
That cracked me up.
I will say,
and it cracked me up even more that I thought Jericho probably wouldn't actually know what that phrase was, considering his percentage. I mean, I know he's not fluent in Japanese, but I would have thought he would have been able to put those two words together.
I love Jericho on commentary. He talked a lot, which is not normally something that I like out of a color guy. I mean, he talked way more than a color guy should, but I have not laughed that much at a commentator in years. He was hysterical. He made some great points. He seemed to have a lot of fun. I just loved his commentating.
I think my favorite thing that he said was, and because it was funny the way he delivered it, but also because you and I believe it to be the truth. Where Shivani said, "There's been a lot of great wrestlers to come out of Canada, haven't there, Chris? And I bet you're one of them, right?" And Chris said, "Yeah, I'm the best wrestler to come out of Canada or anywhere else."
I love the fact that he kept calling Shivani Skivihani.
Skivone.
He cracked me up on literally everything he did tonight. He might be my favorite color commentator ever.
Were you like me that in that I think it was the women's match when he was like the well-schooled feet or the learned feet or what is that line supposed to be? Is Schiavone and Tony's like, yeah, well-schooled feet sounds right, and then a couple. I was like yelling at my TV. It's like it's educated feet. It's educated feet. Like 2 minutes later, he's like, there's those educated feet again. He was like, oh, I got it, Tony. I got it.
Yeah, Jericho was phenomenal tonight. It's like and when he was talking about during the tag match, and he was like, now we got to use those names because they all have special names for their double teams. And when they were stomping on, when Best Friends were stomping on Kenny, and he's like, yeah, that name is yeah. I absolutely loved him. He was amazing. He was probably the highlight of the show tonight.
Yeah, and the other thing about that tag match is I've never really been impressed with Michael Nakazawa, but I did like some of the stuff he did in this match. I liked the spot with the chops and the baby oil.
Yep.
And I loved when he was doing that train thing, like when he had Trent at the where he had his crotch on the turnbuckle and he was like a train, like he was running it when it went to commercial. That cracked me up.
It's the wrestling on tonight's show. I really enjoyed the women's match. Really enjoyed that as far as wrestling goes. I kind of got ho-humish about the whole Cody Shawn Spears thing, which is weird
because Shawn Spears was in it.
Which is weird because I really like both guys, but I just didn't feel like anything was special. And to be honest, I'm getting a little sick of Cody having to hit the crossroads twice.
I'm getting sick of Cody being able to use the belt in the middle of the match and not get disqualified or even admonished for it.
Is it just me? I mean, Cody is one of the best in the world, and there's no question about that, but his matches lately have been the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like every match he's doing is the same story being told, and it's like at some point Cody needs to mix it up because he's one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. He's put on 5-star match after 5-star match. He's amazing in the ring, but I've just become bored with his matches because they seem to tell the same story every single match.
Do you ever feel like after watching what Cody does now and what Jay Lethal has done for the last couple of years that you and I stepped through a wormhole into a different reality where people don't know how to counter the figure four?
Yeah. And the fact that Sean Spears got pinned by a figure four is obnoxious.
Yeah, because for like 30 years, like we've watched guys like Ric Flair and Buddy Rogers and Buddy not who am I Buddy Landell and even Dusty Rhodes, like do the figure four, and people would roll over to counter it, or they crawl to the ropes to be able to counter it. And now it seems like nobody knows that there's counters to the figure four.
Well, in all fairness, the only time Flair was ever countered on the figure four was when he was a heel. When he was a babyface, the figure four actually worked for him. And then when he turned heel, then all of a sudden everybody countered it. And I think maybe that's where they're going with Cody, is because he's a babyface, so the figure four works. And when Lethal was a babyface, the figure four worked. I don't know if they're trying to run the same narrative that Flair did, but that's kind of what I was feeling about all of it.
See, because I feel like for years, and I forgot to say Eddie Gilbert, not in that rant I was doing, but I feel like for the first 20 years I watched wrestling, if not more, that every time I saw somebody get into figure four, or at least once a match I saw somebody get into figure four, they would turn it over on them, and then they'd have to both throw to the ropes and get broken up. And now that seems like it doesn't happen anymore, and it's just weird. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, rolling somebody over to a figure four does not actually reverse the pressure. But
no.
I mean, that's been the narrative over the last 30 years.
And that was a lot of Ric Flair. I mean, when Flair was a heel, and Flair spent the majority of his career as a heel, that figure four always got countered. Every single time. It was the same thing with his flip over the rope. You get thrown in the turnbuckle, he flips over the rope. When he's a heel, he gets clotheslined. When he's not a heel, he ducks a clothesline and gets his punch in, or gets over to the other side. So, a lot of it.
And how the hell did I not see Greg the Hammer Valentine? Sorry, go ahead.
When you're talking about figure fours, seriously, how could you not? I'm not going to lie. One of my first favorite ever tag teams was the Dream Team. Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. That was when I first started wrestling. It was the Rockers, and it was them. So unfortunately, I fell in love with the barber gimmick and all that. But give me a break. I was 10.
So did my brother. My brother Trav was a big Brutus the Barber BK fan.
I actually remember shaving my head when I was a kid, in the same way that Brutus shaved everybody else's heads with just the strips down the side. I remember being on my my 7th grade baseball team with that haircut.
I can just picture you walking down, as a kid, walking down the halls of school with those hedge clippers just chopping.
I came close. Now, Brutus was my favorite for a long time, and it wasn't just, Savage was always my underlying favorite, but because you're a kid and, peer pressure and all that stuff, everybody likes the baby faces, so Brutus was my favorite to the world, but underlying it was always Savage. Savage was my guy. Like once I started watching WWE in after right before WrestleMania 3, Savage was my guy. And before that, it was the Horsemen and the Rockers. I love the Rockers in the AEW or in AWA. I love the Horsemen. I was a huge heel fan for a long time. And then Savage was my guy once I really found WWE, WWF, whatever. But
Yeah, I was actually going to say that I know that another tag team you loved a lot was the Rockers, especially when they were the Midnight Rockers in AWA.
oh my God, they
And
were
and
amazing.
the latest crime in sports is about Marty Jannetty and all his troubles with the law. So you may want to, and it's like a 3-hour episode.
Oh, I'm
Plus,
going. I've got it. I've got it saved. It's something I'm definitely going to watch. I'm just trying to find the time to do so.
plus, this is the first week that my wife signed up for their Patreon show, and at the end of every one of their shows, they read off a list of all their what they call their producers that appear on that do their Patreon, and you'll love to hear the way they butcher my last name on there.
Nice. I got to listen just for that.
It's worse than Schiavone. I'll tell you that much, right?
I don't know. Schiavone is pretty funny. I just absolutely love Jericho tonight. I want him to be on color every single week. Like I said, he talks way more than he should, but he's at least fun. It's not, it reminded me a lot of like Ventura and Bobby Heenan, where he had so many jokes that it was okay to listen to him.
And from what I've read, he's the color commentator for the next 3 weeks of
Oh, thank
TV at
God.
least.
I'm so happy
I,
about that.
I still would really love to see him and Cody on on opposite sides of Shivani, sandwiched between them. I think that
God,
would be
that
a
would
lot
be.
of fun.
Cody, my problem with Cody on commentary is he was too much of a babyface.
Right, and I just think that the dynamic of those two having to work that close to each other and talk back and forth when they're leading their respective teams against each other in blood and guts and they already have this rivalry, and Jericho calling him an idiot every week would just be great.
I think I loved, I don't know, the Pineapple Joe, was that the guy that was in the audience that he kept
Pineapple
referring,
Pete.
Pineapple Pete, that he kept referencing in the audience? I just, he was so much fun tonight that I'm happy that he's going to be there for the next couple of weeks, to be honest.
That was the other thing with the Cody guys. Thank you for bringing that up. Is like, they did so much in this match that if I liked Shawn Spears even a little bit, even if I had a little bit in me that to have the ability to like Shawn Spears, I probably would have been cheering for Shawn Spears against Cody tonight because of the belt thing. Because Cody was having Pineapple Pete hold Shawn Spears for him to attack him. Because Brandy Rhodes was interfering for Cody, and then because of the whole the double crossroad thing, not being able to get the job done, and are you kidding me with the announcers not being able to believe that people kick out of the crossroads anymore because the crossroads doesn't finish anybody off anymore.
No,
Ever.
because he has to do
Ever.
2 or 3 of them every match.
Yeah.
And the thing about Cody is he is the classic babyface heel. He does the shortcuts. He does the the like he does with the belt spot, like Hogan did with the eye pokes, like Dusty did with his little weird spots where he would kind of do a dirty tactic to win. Cody has become that classic face heel. It's not a tweener. It's not an anti-hero. It's that guy who performs heel moves, but does it in a way that he still comes off as a face. Grab your cup.
Yeah, and if he was doing eye rakes and rope rakes with across the ropes with the head and things like that, I'd be that'd be one thing. But when he's actually using interference in front of the referee and foreign objects in front of the referee and not getting disqualified for it, then that isn't just him being a heel. That also breaks the reality of the rules of this universe.
Yeah, but it's that classic, because Hogan was the same way. Hogan was a face, but he would use his weight belt. He would use the eye pokes and all that stuff. And Cody is kind of in the same aura that Hogan was in that retrospect.
No, I disagree. When Hogan used the weight belt, it was when he was a heel as part of the NWO.
Yeah, but when he joined the Red and Black, he still used it. When he went back to his yellow and red, he still used the weight belt.
But I don't think he did it in front of the referee at those times.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You know, I think when he was in NWO, he did it in front of the referee. But you could make the argument that the referee was being cowed by the NWO because they beat the shit out of everybody.
Right.
And you could also make the argument that the referee was letting it go because he wanted somebody to beat the NWO
and
take the title away from them.
And it was also when Neil Patrick was the referee.
Yeah, that's another good point.
So
I mean, there's reasons for it there. Whereas what is it that Hogan that Cody is such a dictator that if somebody disqualifies him, he's going to fire them? Because I don't buy that in his character.
He is the EVP.
Yeah, but is that part of his character that he's that much of an asshole? It's not.
No, I mean, and I agree with you. I'm not a fan of it either. Don't get me wrong. I think it's stupid, and I don't like the fact that they do it. But I do kind of. I see that ever since I want to say Fyter Fest is when he really developed that character where he was that heel / face, but he was the heel or that face that did heel things.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because I do think he's one of the best storytellers in the world. But
I agree.
But I'm getting to the point where I don't want to watch him wrestle anymore.
And I agree with that too. I've gotten to that over the last probably 3 weeks, where it's like every match that Cody has done has been the same match that he did last week, the week before, a month before. I love when he clicks, but to me he's become kind of Randy Orton, where when he's in a story he believes in, when he's he can still put on that 5-star match, but he seems like he has to be motivated to do it.
I think with me it started with the cage match against Wardlow because he had no business winning that match.
No, that's about, probably. But that whole feud was kind of a disaster, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I mean, it ended up with MJF winning, which he had to, given everything else that had gone on. But I still think that Cody should have lost that cage match. He still could have gotten his ass kicked in it, and he still could have looked strong, but lost to Wardlow like he should have.
Cody should have lost all of those challenges. He should have been on a losing streak going into that match. And MJF, winning it the way that he did, if Cody had been kind of beaten down, trodden by that point, would have made more sense. The fact that MJF won that by nefarious means after Cody looked strong in everything that led up to it made everything they did in the whole feud look like shit, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that you and I going into it, we're like, we could have been so excited for this feud, for this match, and we're just totally, it's a wet popcorn fart.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was, yeah.
But then we really enjoyed watching the match and that whole pay-per-view, So.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this or not, Jeff, but Fight TV announced today that they have a new service called Fight TV Plus, where you can sign up for it for $5 a month, and you get $2 back every month that you can use for a future one of their events. And then it's basically like there's events that are like a month old that you have available for free to watch. But So I was like, oh, that might be interesting. So I went and looked at the list, and it's like all the wrestling shows that are on there are like CZW shows, FSW shows, and there's like something called AXW. I was really hoping there was like some GCW stuff, so we could like see like stuff that Joey Janela does with his home promotion, and see him actually look great, as opposed to what he's looked at like in AEW. But unfortunately, that isn't the case.
The CZW stuff wouldn't be bad, especially if they give us some of the older stuff.
I didn't go back. I didn't keep going back and looking, but it looks like there's stuff that's at least a year old on there.
If they went back to like 2010, 2011, some of the Moxley stuff, some of the I can't remember the other guy's name.
Did they even have Fight TV in 2010, 2011?
Did they need it if they get the rights to the library?
Well, that's true. But I'm guessing that this is stuff that actually aired on Fight.
Yeah. Then probably not worth it, especially with all the other subscriptions I have.
Yeah. I mean, there might be. I'm guessing there might be some of the future Stars of Wrestling shows that are worth watching.
And speaking of things, I think I may end up ponying up for the DC universe stuff. Okay. So we can cover that on a future Patreon or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, I'm watching. Well, I'm behind. I'm 2 episodes or 3 episodes into Titans right now.
I've heard that's amazing.
But I obviously I don't want to start watching. I can't even think of the name of the other show. But there's a spinoff that's basically a spinoff from that show that's kind of like the X-Men. So I'm looking forward to watching that. But they spin off from Titans, so I don't want to watch it until I get through Titans.
Right. I'm kind of that way with Arrow right now. I'm watching Arrow from the beginning, incorporating the rest of the DC, the Arrowverse, as I get there. So I'm in like season 5 of Arrow, season 2 of Flash, season 1 of Supergirl, and trying to get through that. So I get that.
With Black Lightning, I don't think it matters when you watch that because that doesn't actually spin off from Arrow. So.
It's still part of the Arrowverse, so it doesn't come in until season 8, 7, maybe 7.
The only time that Black Lightning mixes in with the other shows is during Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is in the final season of Arrow. So
okay, so
season 8.
Yeah, I'm still gonna kind of join them all in order. I've got Legends coming up next, and I've seen the first 3 seasons of Legends. I saw the first 4 seasons of Flash. I saw the first season of Supergirl, but I'm still trying to right now kind of watch them all as they were done in reality.
The funny thing is that I told you that I got it partly to watch the DC animated universe movies, and I watched the Flashpoint Paradox, and then like the day after I watched the Flashpoint Paradox, I saw an article where it was like the top the DC animated movies ranked in order. And Flashpoint Paradox was like the 26th best one, and I was like, I fucking love that movie. Are you kidding me? But they said it was too dark. They said it was the people the Flash fans finally got a Flash movie and it was too dark. It's like It's like, are you kidding me? That's the entire point of the Flashpoint Paradox is that he's got to save us from a dark universe that's a destroy itself.
I hate that crap when they pull that stuff. I just hate that. It's like, oh, it's too dark. Well, what did you want? Did you want to watch a comic book? A funny DuckTales type comic book? Or did you want an actual story?
And if it was, but they probably wanted something more like Justice League War, which, despite the name, was pretty campy, really.
A lot of DC stuff is.
But these legions of aliens attacking, and they're able to fight them off pretty handily. But with the Flashpoint Paradox, like if he had saved his mom, and then it turned into like a land of puppies and flowers and rainbows popping up everywhere and everybody was happy, then what would be the point of him going back and changing reality back the way it was?
That was
Yeah.
the one thing I did like about the Flash. Like I think it was season 3, that he went back, saved his mom, and then realized that nothing was as good as it should have been.
I think it was season 2.
Was it, no, it was season 3.
I thought season 3 was that terrible one.
Dude, they all had terrible moments.
No, season 3 was the one that dragged on and on and on, where he, like, his future self
Yep,
was the main boss.
that was the Flash one.
No. Okay. Huh. Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of season 4 then. It was maybe season 4 is the one that's a drag then. But
It's probably even Wally West.
okay.
I've never been a Wally West.
Yeah, I just know that at the end of one of those seasons, I was like, this dragged way too much, and
Well,
it ended with a perfect stopping point. So I was like, okay, I'm off.
to be honest, most 22 episode seasons have a good 3 or 4 episodes that are like, why? Why is it? It's it's off the whole story. It just that's why I like the Netflix series and the Hulu series that are only like 10, 12, 13 episodes long, because they get to the point.
Well, no, I'm not talking about 3 or 4 episodes. I'm talking about an entire season where I kept going, is something going to happen? Is something going to happen? Is something going to happen? So.
Yeah, that sounds like DC.
We're way off topic, but I don't care. This wasn't a. I think we've covered everything to cover on this show.
Sounds like every DC I've ever been involved in. Anyway, so next week, what are we gonna do? Connor, next week we're gonna do a live play-by-play on Dynamite, and then if we're still into it afterwards, a after show review. What are we doing on King of Honor?
We are doing Indie Mania Day 1.
Are we gonna do both, or we're just doing day 1?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna have time to watch Day 2, and then also refresh myself on Best in the World. So.
Okay, so we are doing a Patreon show next week.
If you're up for it, if you're not, we won't do it.
Yeah, I can find time.
Okay.
And we'll probably skip the Patreon show, or I'm sorry, the YouTube Lock and Key show next week, but we'll get to that in 2 weeks from now.
Probably 3, because you'll have Arlo in 2 weeks.
No, in 2 weeks I shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't have him next week, then I do, and then I don't. Oh, so I guess it depends on how you're counting 3 weeks.
I'm counting 3 weeks by going 1, 2, 3.
If you're counting this as week 1, then it'll be 3 weeks. If you're counting next week as week 1, it'll be 2 weeks.
Why would I count next week as week 1?
Because I did. just
Maybe
so
you should
you're
be drunk
aware.
tonight too.
I probably should be. All right, so we're good on AEW tonight. I thought I enjoyed tonight's show and I hated tonight's show. It was a weird mix of loving it because of the commentary. There were a couple of great matches. Then there were a couple of dud matches, and the Hagar Moxley stuff went on a little too much. But at the same point, I'm also giving it kind of a kind eye because of the current situation of the world.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just can't stand Sean Spears being in the main event again. I really did enjoy the women's match though. I enjoyed the tag match. And the couple of things we didn't mention was Brody Lee was in another jobber match, and I really would like to have them to have somebody step up to be his next, or somebody real for him to face.
I'm a
Um,
little annoyed they went through and did the rankings. There's two people that I'm really annoyed at. First of all, Cody being ranked, and secondly, Dark Order being ranked. I get that they're 5-0 this year, but have they been in anything since the tag title tournament that has mattered?
Not that I can think of.
So how are they the number one contenders?
They're the number one contenders.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
they're 5-0 this year. They were ranked number one when they ran through the little ranking thing in the middle of the show.
Oh, I missed that. That might have been when I fell asleep during
I
the
just
Moxley Hager stuff.
I think I'm fed up with the whole ranking system. I think it was done poorly and it has not been course corrected. The fact that they continue to do fatal four ways and mini tournaments to determine the number one contender, but then still go out and give us these damn rankings. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Let me ask you something, because you watched that. Was Jake Hager on the top 5?
Yeah, he was number one.
Okay, that I don't get, because has he only had like 2 matches?
He's had like 4 and he's undefeated.
Well, I know he's undefeated, but I thought he only had like 2 matches.
Jericho was the number 2 contender. Hager was number 1. Cody was number 3.
Yeah. And you and I are always going to have a problem with Cody being on that list, but he's always going to be on that list, so I think we're going to have to get over it.
Well, and that's why I just think at this point, let's just get rid of the list.
Yeah, they're not going to.
I know. Unfortunately, okay. I know.
But I really want somebody, Brody, they to stick somebody with Brody, put somebody with Brody List can be a real challenge to him. I don't, Christopher Daniels might be able to be that guy, but I would probably rather it be somebody else.
And how about we put somebody with Lance Archer that's going to be a challenge? Enough with these jobber squash matches.
Well, that has me worried that we're actually going to get Cody versus Lance Archer now in the finals. I mean, I was hoping that Lance Archer would somehow stop Cody from winning, and then Cody would repay that favor to him. But now it looks like they might actually be building to that as the final of the TNT title tournament, which I think sucks, honestly.
Well, and unfortunately, I think you're right with the whole Darby Allin winning next week. I really want Sammy to get that spot, but I think you're right with the Darby versus Cody in the second round.
Yeah. I really don't want to see Darby lose to Cody again.
No, I don't either.
But the other thing I wanted to talk about was, because we didn't mention it, but is that I'm happy that they're building towards this elite deletion.
Yes.
I really wanted to see Jericho and Hardy on the Hardy compound. After we didn't get Blood and Guts, and we can't right now, so then building to another big match besides the empty arena title match, I think is awesome. And I think that building to a final deletion style match between these two is awesome as well.
My only problem with the final deletion match is one of them is going to have to go away.
Go away? Why? Well, yeah, why?
Well, just in character. I mean, if you look at the whole Hardy versus Hardy final deletion match, Jeff Hardy ended up changing his character.
Yeah, maybe Jericho just got more psycho.
Yeah, but is he more psycho as still a member of the Inner Circle, or is now he a part of Hardy's camp? How does it work? That's what I'm afraid of.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. I guess I want to trust them that they're not going to ruin anything by doing it.
They have Shawn Spears in the main event 2 weeks in a row. Do you really trust them?
Yes, because I think they also have a limited roster that they have to work with right now.
Oh, that's a good point.
And I think and even though Shawn Spears is from Canada, I want to say he does make his residence currently in Florida.
Okay. All right.
So,
fair enough.
and yeah. So and the
he
other
has the
thing,
perfect timing.
and the other fuck that, and the and the other thing is that if it's true that they taped for about a month, you know, and they have to kind of go off the air for a few weeks, then that works perfectly if the Elite Deletion is in that last show that they recorded on. Then they'll both have to go away for a little bit before they're back on TV.
I would like to, if they do have to shut down tapings, I would honestly like to see them go with showing us the AEW Darks. They've been recording them since October, and it's been, they're hour-long episodes, and you throw two of them on for a week, that could fill up a good month, a good couple months of TV programming, and a lot of people like me, I've never seen them. I just don't have the time to watch the YouTube show. So it'd be nice to see those AEW Darks like that.
Yeah, I think another idea would be to show the pay-per-views too.
Yeah, I mean that works, but personally for me, I've seen them, so it'd be nice to see something I haven't seen.
Right, you've seen them.
I'm.
I've seen them, but there's probably people out there that
I
haven't
don't
wanted to
care. I am all about me.
That in this era of streaming services haven't wanted to pay $50 or $60 to watch a pay-per-view.
I haven't wanted to either, but I'm all about me. I haven't seen the AEW Darks. I don't have time. Show them to me for free on TV.
You can watch them for free on TV anytime you want to!
I have no time. Alright, so we're good now. Anyway, guys, patreon.com/Kingdom of Honor. You can go there. You can get all of our archives. I've got some articles that I've written throughout the years. They're on there, and hopefully soon, probably I think we just agreed 3 weeks, we will be starting up the Patreon, YouTube and Patreon shows again. Also, if you're listening to us on YouTube, be sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, because we do this live twice a week.
Ding dong.
We do this live twice a week, and we do at least one per month. And for a while there, it was 2 per month, live exclusive shows for YouTube only. Also, if you're listening to us on Spreaker, we appreciate it. And make sure you check us out on Twitter. I'm at RegiCoop. He is at ZanmanLOP. Use the hashtag KOH and the hashtag DAD. That'll help you find us quicker and faster and love us more.
As if that's possible. Like we were talking just a few minutes ago. Next week on Kingdom of Honor, we'll be covering on Tuesday night. We'll be covering the first day of Indie Mania, which took place this weekend. So that's available on the Wrestle Talk YouTube channel. They do put up a lot of content, so you're gonna have to sort through it and find it. But day 1 aired on Saturday the 4th, and day 2 aired on Sunday the 5th, just like WrestleMania did. Go on there, watch the shows, go to their GoFundMe page and donate, or go to their website WrestleTalkShop.com and buy a T-shirt to support that event. All the proceeds for either the donation or for buying the T-shirt is divided among the 13 wrestling companies that help put that show together, sending them representative matches from their previous shows to show on. And the main event of day 1 is actually a Will Ospreay match against I can't remember the guy's name, but it's in Melbourne City Wrestling, and it's actually from right after Wrestle Kingdom this year, so it's only a few months old. So go in there and watch it and donate, and then we'll be here to talk about it with you guys next Tuesday. And the next Wednesday, we're going to be doing the live watch along of Dynamite instead of doing Dynamite After Dark, so that'd be pretty awesome. Tomorrow night is MCLOP Radio Adventure. On Friday, we have Ms. Fan's Mystery Bag, where he's going to talk about some indie guy that he likes a lot and get Shane to watch it along with him. Not this Shane, the other Shane.
The nice thing about us doing a live watch along with the AEW next week is the fact that you get to listen to all the crap that we text to each other on a weekly basis. So
Yes.
there's that.
And you also, and you also get to hear me lie, bitch, and moan about there being commercials.
And Sean Spears.
God, I hope not. That's all we've got. We'll try to do better next time. This is Shane saying long days, pleasant nights, and Jeff saying
Goodbye.
and good riddance, Sean Spears.
Oh, boo.